Our husbands work at top-tier companies. Yours is nothing compared to them." Kate's loud laugh echoed through the reunion restaurant. Following her lead, Mia and Erica joined in with loud voices. "Yeah, Kate's husband is nothing like John. Poor John can't even compare." The three of them laughed heartily. It's hard to believe, but back in our school days, I used to be good friends with these three. But now they look down on me like this. You never know what life will bring. However, once they find out my true identity, they won't be able to treat me like this ever again. My name is John, and I'm 35 years old. I've always been shy, not the type to stand out. I have plain looks and have never been considered handsome. But there was one thing I was better at than anyone else, and that was studying. My dad runs a large company, and my mom is a housewife. My dad always wanted me to take over his company, and he constantly reminded me, studying is the most important thing. You need to study hard now and get into a good university. My mom, following my dad's wishes, enrolled me in several extracurricular activities to improve my grades. As a result, I naturally became good at studying. Wanting to make my parents happy, I prioritized studying above all else. That's why I always turned down invitations to hang out after school. But deep down, it was tough watching my classmates have fun. I wanted to play with them too. But I thought that if I didn't study, my parents would be disappointed, so I endured and kept studying. Thanks to that, I always had top grades, and the teachers took notice of me. My parents' expectations for me grew even higher. Then, one day, as I was stopping by the schoolyard before going to supplemental classes, some classmates invited me to play soccer. I had never played soccer before and felt confused, but since I had time, I decided to join them. It was then that I discovered how incredibly fun soccer was. Seeing how excited I was playing soccer, my classmates made a suggestion. "Hey John, why don't you join the soccer team? It'll be a blast." I immediately nodded, wanting to join the team, but upon thinking it over, I realized my parents would never agree. However, since I was already working so hard at studying, maybe they would support me. With a faint hope, I went home and asked my mom straight away, "I want to join the soccer team. I'll keep up my studies too, so can I join?" But my mom's response was unbelievable. "What are you talking about? Just focus on studying. You can play soccer after you get into a good university. For now, concentrate on your studies." I was at a loss for words. It was wrong of me to hope, even a little. Disappointed by my mom's words, I couldn't give up. I really wanted to play soccer no matter what. Next, I decided to ask my dad. But his response was just like my mom's. "Soccer isn't necessary for your life. What you need is to study. Now, go focus on your studies." I was filled with despair. My hope of joining the soccer team was crushed. From then on, I threw myself into studying even more. Seeing this, my parents looked very pleased. "At this rate, he'll definitely get into a prestigious middle school. Yes, let's enroll him in an even better supplemental classes." My parents kept telling me, their obedient son, to study even harder. Back then, I was exhausted from always having to obey them. I thought if I got into a prestigious middle school, my parents might give me a bit more freedom. So I decided to study even harder. And I did get into that prestigious middle school, just as my parents wanted. I wanted to join a team I liked and live freely and happily in junior high. I wanted to make lots of friends and have a great time. But I was naive to think that. When I handed my parents the paper to join the soccer team, my dad turned red with anger. "You don't need soccer. Can't you understand that? You're gonna take over my company in the future. You don't need soccer for that." I looked to my mom for help, but she just nodded in agreement. It was useless to argue with them. They just wanted to control me and make me follow the path they wanted. I was angry inside, but as a middle school student, I had no choice but to obey. Why did I have to go through this? I swore to myself that one day when I grew up, I would follow my own path. From then on, I lived like a puppet, controlled by my parents. The turning point for me was when I got into college. I worked hard and finally got accepted into Harvard. My parents were thrilled and even told the whole neighborhood about my acceptance. Getting into Harvard is amazing. This is all thanks to me and your mom working hard. I was stunned into silence by my dad's words. The ones who worked hard were not my dad or my mom. It was me. My mom just smiled at my dad's ridiculous statement. I let out a big sigh. Then, I told my parents something I had been thinking about for a while. Harvard is far from home, so can I live on my own? I think it would be better for my studies to live closer to the university. I made it sound like it was for the sake of my studies. If I didn't, they would easily oppose it. Just as I planned, my parents agreed to let me live on my own for my studies. Finally, I could be free. I was thrilled. Then, I started doing all the things I had wanted to do. First, I joined a soccer team. I had always wanted to play soccer since I was a kid, so I decided I would definitely join this team. So, I joined immediately. Playing soccer and watching games with everyone was so much fun for me, and it was there that I met Kate. Kate was bright and cheerful, and just being around her lightened up the atmosphere and made everyone smile. She was outgoing and talked to me, who was shy, and I soon fell for her. I wasn't the type to stand out in public, so I was always quietly listening to the professor during lectures, and I didn't notice, but Kate said something surprising. "John, you're in the same class as me, right? You always get good grades and the professor always praises you, so I noticed you." I didn't realize Kate was in the same class. "Oh, I just happened to get good grades by chance." When I said that, Kate's friends Mia and Erica also chimed in. "Getting good grades in such a tough class is amazing. You're top of the class and have a bright future ahead." I felt embarrassed and my face turned red. When I lived with my parents, getting good grades was normal, so I was never praised for it. Seeing my red face, the three of them laughed. Since then, Kate, Mia, Erica, and I started doing everything together. Thanks to those three people, I made more guy friends and started hanging out after classes. I had a much better time than when I was just studying all the time. A while after that, Kate called me over. She looked embarrassed. What could it be? As I listened to her, she said something shocking. "John, if you don't mind, would you go out with me?" I was so surprised I almost fell over. "Me?" I blurted out, and Kate started laughing. "Of course, it's you, John. I love smart guys." I had never dated a girl or been confessed to before, but I had a crush on Kate ever since I met her. So my answer was already decided. Yes. When I said that, Kate jumped up and down with joy. It was so cute that I couldn't help but smile too. From then on, I spent even more time with Kate as my girlfriend. Time flew by, and before I knew it, I was a junior in college. It was about time to start thinking about my future. Through my college lectures, I had figured out what I wanted to do. It seemed inevitable that I would take over my father's company. But I wanted to work at another company first to gain experience. Despite this, I continued to have happy days. On days I didn't study, I spent time with Kate, sharing our dreams for the future. Those moments were priceless to me. I thought this happy life would continue forever. One day, my parents suddenly came to my apartment. They told me something shocking. "John, after you graduate, you're gonna join my company immediately." I couldn't believe my ears. Normally, I wouldn't argue, but this time I couldn't stay silent. "I can't do that. I have something I want to do." My mother raised her voice. "Why? Who do you think you have to thank for everything you have now?" My father yelled too, piling on. "Your mom's right. Stop being selfish. You're taking over my company." I couldn't hold back my emotions anymore. "Do you have any idea what I've been feeling all this time? I didn't even want to study, but I did it for you. And now you won't even let me follow my own path." My parents looked like their eyes were gonna pop out of their heads. I had never gone against them before, so they were shocked. But my father yelled even louder. "You're our only son. There's no one else to take over my company. It's your destiny. There's no other way. I couldn't accept it. I'm not your puppet. I'm 20 years old now. From now on, I'm gonna live my life the way I want. When I said that, my father's face turned red with anger. How dare you talk back to me? I won't let you do whatever you want. If you're gonna be like that, then we're cutting ties. My mother started crying. Fine. We can cut ties. I'm gonna keep studying, so go home. Goodbye. I said that and shut the door of my apartment. I don't know if this was the best decision, but I didn't want to be controlled by my parents anymore. This is my life, not theirs. From now on, I've decided to pave my own way. Soon after, I submitted my withdrawal from college. Getting into Harvard was my parents' dream, not mine. I decided to drop out to pursue what I really wanted to do. I reported this to Kate right away, thinking she would support my decision. But contrary to my expectations, Kate looked shocked. Why? Weren't you going to Harvard to take over your dad's company? Yeah, but actually, I've cut ties with my parents. When I said that, Kate was stunned and speechless. Then, without saying anything, she left. What happened? Maybe she was shocked by what I said. Thinking that, I tried to contact Kate many times, but she never responded. Meanwhile, my last day at college arrived. As I was saying goodbye to each of my friends, a friend from the same department said something concerning. It's a shame about Kate, but I'm sure you'll find someone else. Huh? I was completely confused by what he was saying. Just then, Kate walked up with Mia and Erica. The three of them were looking at me with puzzled expressions. I immediately said to Kate, "Kate, I've been trying to contact you. What's going on?" Kate folded her arms and narrowed her eyes. "We broke up. There's no need to keep in touch." "What do you mean we broke up?" I couldn't understand the situation. Seeing that, Mia and Erica shouted loudly in Kate's place. "It means we can't date someone who drops out of college." "Yeah, you probably just couldn't keep up with the studies, right? Pathetic." I was at a loss for words. Does dropping out of college make me useless? I was so shocked that my body trembled beyond anger. I'm not interested in someone who's useless. I thought you'd work for a top company in the future. I was way off. Give me back my precious time. I was filled with disbelief. I never thought Kate, who I loved from the bottom of my heart, would think this way. I left without saying anything. Then I formally withdrew from college. After that, I never contacted Kate, Mia, or Erica again. Right after breaking up with Kate, there were sleepless nights due to the shock, but with time, those feelings completely faded, and now I even think it was good that we broke up. If we had stayed together, nothing good would have come of it. 14 years have passed since that nightmare. I'm now 35, a respectable middle-aged man. Compared to when I was 20, time seems to pass faster every year. I've gotten old, I thought. Around that time, I got an invitation to a college reunion from a friend. It was my first time being invited to a college reunion. I wondered what my friends were doing now. Wanting to catch up, I decided to attend the reunion. At that moment, I was motivated purely by the desire to see my friends. I knew Kate and the others would be there, but I didn't care. On the day of the reunion, I decided to go in a casual outfit I don't usually wear. Feeling excited about seeing my friends again, I walked into the restaurant where the reunion was being held. As soon as I entered, my college friends rushed over to greet me. "John, long time no see. What have you been up to?" Then, to my surprise, Kate appeared from behind that friend. She started saying some rude things right away. A company that would hire a dropout must be a terrible place, right? I was at a loss for words. I couldn't understand why Kate, who knew nothing, was saying such offensive things. As I remained silent, a friend defended me. "John was the smartest in our class. There's no way he's working at a bad company." Then, out of nowhere, Mia and Erica showed up. "He might have been smart in college, but once you drop out, you're useless." Exactly. There's no way someone like that could get a good job. The three of them kept saying whatever they wanted. Even my friends seemed exasperated. The atmosphere among the friends present became tense and quiet. If this continued, the reunion wouldn't be fun at all. Thinking this, I decided to speak up. "Let's drop the talk about me, all right? Let's have some fun." Hearing my words, Kate started laughing. "Who do you think is making it impossible to have fun?" My friend and I exchanged glances. "John, it's all because of useless people like you." Mia and Erica were giggling. I let out a big sigh. Then my friend tried to change the topic and asked Kate, "Hey Kate, I heard you got married recently." "Congrats." Kate's face lit up with pride, and she began to talk boastfully. "Not just me, Mia and Erica also got married recently. We never expected that all three of us, the close trio, would get married around the same time. My last name is now Nash. So even these three managed to get married. Their husbands must have failed to see their bad personalities. Poor guys." I was thinking this while listening to the conversation. Then Kate said something unexpected. "You know the most famous company in the country, M Corp, right? The one known for being full of elites. Our husbands work for that top-tier company, unlike someone like you." Nash from M Corp? A certain person came to my mind. Kate's loud laughter echoed through the restaurant. Following her, Mia and Erica also started speaking loudly. "Yeah, Kate's husband is nothing like John. It's a shame to even compare him to someone like John." The three of them were laughing loudly. So I asked Kate a question. "Is your husband's name Ken?" Kate looked at me suspiciously. "How do you know my husband's name?" Just as I thought. "Didn't he get fired last month?" "What?" Kate looked at me with a face full of disbelief. I told her the truth. "Your husband has been embezzling company funds. Despite repeated warnings, he kept doing it, so we had to fire him just recently." Mia and Erica burst into loud laughter. "How would you know something like that? You don't even work for M Corporation, so it's gotta be nonsense. Stop pretending you're the CEO. Kate, everything this guy says is made up, so don't worry about it." The two of them continued laughing. "Yeah, everything you're saying is a lie. You're just jealous of my husband, aren't you?" I couldn't understand why I would be jealous of Kate's husband. In fact, I felt sorry for him for marrying Kate. No matter what I said, they wouldn't believe me. So I pulled something out of my pocket and showed it to the three of them. "No way, this can't be true." Kate was so shocked she almost collapsed. "What? John Seigel, CEO of M Corporation. So you really are the CEO?" Mia and Erica stared at me in shock, eyes wide open. What I had shown them was my business card, which I happened to be carrying. "Yeah, that's right. I'm the CEO of M Corporation." As soon as I said that, the reunion hall fell silent. Everyone turned to look at me. The truth is, I am the CEO of M Corporation. After dropping out of college, I gradually developed an interest in management. Even if I had joined my father's company and become its CEO, it was still my father's creation. I wanted to build a company from scratch on my own. With that in mind, I intended to start my own company after graduation, but my parents insisted that I join my father's company right after finishing school. I had already begun preparing to start my own company and was determined to make that dream a reality. So I severed ties with my parents and dropped out of college. That's when I founded M Corporation. The early days were tough, and there were many challenges. I had no one to rely on but myself, having cut ties with my parents. I worked desperately every day and managed to keep the company afloat. Now, 13 years after its founding, everyone knows my company. While I don't specifically seek out graduates from prestigious universities, smart people naturally gravitate toward us. Kate's husband, Ken Nash, was one of them. A graduate of K University, he was known within the company as a promising candidate for executive positions. He had a bright future ahead of him, but one day, a problem arose. It turned out he was embezzling company funds. At first, I couldn't believe it, but the security camera footage confirmed it. Everyone makes mistakes. So I decided to forgive him the first time. But unbelievably, Nathan embezzled funds again. At that point, I had no choice but to fire him. When Kate started boasting about her husband, I was surprised to hear the name Nash. It's a rare name, not very common, so I quickly realized that her husband was the employee I had fired. Kate turned pale and glared at me. How could a dropout like you become the CEO of a top company? So it's true that my husband was fired? In the end, it doesn't matter where you went to school. What matters is how motivated you are. And yeah, your husband hasn't been with my company since last month. As soon as I said that, Kate staggered and leaned against the nearby window. She muttered to herself, "So where has he been going every morning when he said he was going to work?" At that moment, Kate saw a couple outside the window and started to go crazy. Then she stormed out of the venue. Her friends were shocked by her intensity and followed her outside. There, a man and a woman stood frozen, their faces pale. Kate was yelling at them with a face like a demon. "Ken, what the hell are you doing?" To everyone's surprise, the man in the couple was Kate's husband, Ken. Ken, sweating and panicked, tried desperately to make excuses in a weak voice. She's just a friend. You walk arm in arm with just a friend? That's insane." Kate's voice was so loud that the other woman got scared and started crying. Then Ken, in an attempt to protect the woman, shouted back at Kate, "Calm down. Marina has nothing to do with this. Can't you speak more quietly?" It seemed the woman with Ken was named Marina. Hearing Ken's words, Kate, trembling with anger, said, "How can I calm down? I heard you got fired from your job." "How did you know?" "John told me." The moment Kate said that, Ken looked at me. His face turned pale, and he asked me, "Boss, you know Kate?" "You could say that." Ken was completely shaken. Marina, looking worried, began to comfort Ken with kind words. Ken looked much happier with Marina. Watching this, Kate let out a big sigh. "So, are you gonna leave me and be with that plain-looking girl?" Ken fell silent. Mia and Erica, who had been watching with bated breath, were stunned. Silence filled the air for a while. Thinking this wouldn't get resolved, I spoke up. "Ken, you only live once. You should be honest with yourself." Hearing this, Ken finally made up his mind and spoke. "I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with Marina." Kate froze at his words. Mia and Erica were also shocked, their mouths wide open. "What? She's not even pretty. Why her?" Kate glared at the woman with Ken. Ken desperately defended the woman. "Marina's family is poor, and they can't afford her mom's surgery. That's why I embezzled money from the company. I have to support Marina." Kate started laughing. "She's just a gold digger. How can you not see that?" Then Marina, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "I'm really sorry for making Ken spend money on me. I'm working hard to pay him back, but he won't accept it." Hearing Marina's words, Ken held her hand. "I'm gonna protect you for life. I need you." I'm leaving Kate, who only sees my education, career, and money. Kate's face turned bright red. Mia and Erica exchanged awkward glances. At that moment, Kate's phone rang loudly. It seemed like someone was calling her. Panicking from being dumped by Ken, Kate answered the phone without thinking, letting everyone hear the conversation. A loud voice came from Kate's phone. "Hello, Kate. It's James. What time should I pick you up? Mia is staying at a friend's house tonight, so I'm free anytime." Kate started to panic more than I'd ever seen before. "James." Mia turned pale. Kate was so flustered that she dropped her phone. James' voice echoed from the phone. Apparently, this man was Mia's husband. "Hello, Kate. Are you okay? Where should we eat tonight?" "The usual place." Mia picked up the phone, trembling with anger. "James, why are you calling Kate? When you say the usual place, does that mean you've been meeting her regularly?" "No, it's not like that. Kate and I are just friends. You always called her Miss, and now you're just calling her Kate. That's way too suspicious." As Mia said that, James hung up. Mia then confronted Kate. "Kate, what's going on between you and my husband? Like James said, we're just friends." "I swear." Kate started making desperate excuses. But there was no way Mia was going to buy that, and the atmosphere grew tense. Kate, you've always been a taker, haven't you? I'm done with you. Don't ever contact me or my husband again. That's too much. Don't contact me either. With that, Mia and Erica left the venue. In that moment, years of friendship crumbled. Kate was at a loss. Then Ken delivered the final blow. Let's get a divorce. Move out of our house right now. What? That house is our joint property. You can't just do that. Ken laughed. What are you talking about? That house originally belonged to my parents. It's not joint property. Pack your stuff today. No way. Ken held out his hand to Kate. Hand over the credit card. But I'm a housewife. How am I supposed to live if you take away my money? Ken took out a few $100s from his wallet and handed it to Kate. This is your alimony. Since you were cheating too, I don't owe you much. With that, Ken left with Marina. Kate collapsed to her knees and started crying pathetically. These were the consequences of her own actions. The friends went back inside and resumed the reunion. I enjoyed the time with friends I hadn't seen in a while. After that, Kate and Mia had a falling out and severed ties. She also officially divorced Ken and now lives alone in loneliness. Losing both friends and her husband, Kate no longer has the energy she once had. You can't change the past, but you can change yourself now. I hope Kate will lead a better life from now on. As for my company, we decided to merge with another company. That company was my father's. I had heard through the grapevine that my father was struggling with running the company as he got older, so I made the decision. Even though I didn't take over the family business, my parents were happy and cried with joy. They apologized for everything they had done. There were times when I resented my parents, but now I'm grateful to them. I want to continue living with gratitude towards those around me.